Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. I am High Lord Tamerlane, and this here in front of me is Ehecatl, the Devourer. Ehecatl comes from Lost Kingdom Miniatures out of Spain, where they put out their Cuetzpal Empire full of big honking lizards. So, if you like lizard men, anything like I do, please do check them out. So, okay. This is the first time I have found a Cuetzpal model that is not actually in a bag, but we've got a smaller base this time. He's on a 40mm base. And once more, like many of his cold-blooded brethren, he has got the most fanciest of headdresses. And just like all their other headdresses, the detail work in this thing is just crazy intricate. I have no idea how I'm going to do all these different types of feathers. And there are different types of feathers here. You can see there's a little bit of differentiation. They actually have these big elaborate helmet headdresses that sit on top of their heads. I didn't realize that during the actual Kickstarter. I thought they were wearing masks. So you can see the top of the head there. And I'm assuming since this is the body here, yep, you can see the bottom of the head with this big casting gate in the way. It's opening his mouth like that. I can't tell if I'm going to have to clean between the teeth there. I think it's supposed to be molded like that. He's got a little mace thing on his tail, kind of like a Chakux or whatever the Eternity Warden's name was. Obviously my Eternity Warden is a bit fancier one. This is the actual GW model. I'm not sure what this guy is actually supposed to be a proxy for, if anything, other than just a cool freaking lizard man. One of the things that I really liked about these models is they actually have some kind of embellishments and clothing on, unlike most of the GW lizards who are just running around practically naked and with nothing at all. Like a lot of the Temple Guard and other Lost Kingdom models, they have these big, fancy shoulder pads attached, all kinds of bracelets and gauntlets. Looks like he's got some kind of scaled pattern one there. And this dude's supposed to be holding up a poor Empire victim type dude, which you can see here. He's got a big fancy war club as well. That's going to require all kinds of fun details. He's got a scenic base piece right here. And finally, he's got his poor victim. It's quite nicely sculpted, I must say. He's got his literally paws sinking into. And again, the detail work, you can see just like the filigree on the armor there is quite fancy and quite nice. And it actually kind of makes me wonder if Lost Kingdom would consider doing any kind of fantasy Empire dudes. So I'm assuming one of these hands is actually supposed to be holding, I thought, the guy's heart. But what is this? Maybe that's supposed to be the heart. Ah, it is. You can see the arteries kind of popping off of it there. So he's supposed to be popping the delicacy into his mouth while he holds his victim in the other. And I believe that his war club is actually supposed to plug in. Not that there's a plug anywhere. Somewhere on his back. Where? I don't know. I'll have to look online and see if there's any photos of that. Alright, I'm going to get this guy clean. Thankfully, he's not as desperately in need of a cleaning job as some of the other Lost Kingdom models. He looks like he's going to be a lot easier to get put together, but I'm going to go get him cleaned up. He's a little bit slimier with that mold release agent stuff on it, so he needs a good scrubbing and cleaning before I actually put him together. But I'll be back in a moment with the final presentation of him. Alright, we've got Ehecatl the Devourer all put together here. Well, for the most part, I didn't put his weapon on yet, just so I could paint it and get to his rear end without too many distractions. And here you can see a regular Saurus Warrior for size references. This guy is more in scale with like our Cuetzpal father and mother, but surprisingly, he's not on a 50mm base. He also has one of the most fabulous headdresses out of the whole range, I think. He's also busy devouring this poor Empire-looking dude's heart, but, you know, whatever. I still feel like this part of the model should have been a whole separate piece that could have just plugged into the claw, but that's just me. He could still be devouring the heart, because obviously he likes his delicacies. I had a little bit of a hard time getting the head pieces lined up. I actually ended up snapping off the lower jaw and had to re-glue that, but shh, don't say anything. Other than that, he went together really smoothly, not a bunch of huge, horrible gaps that are in need of filling, so that's always a plus. But again, the detail on these dudes is really, really nice. And he also has a nice little base topper. Surprisingly, he came on a 32mm base. I was a bit taken back by that. I would have assumed he would have been on a 40 or 50. I mean, because like I said, size-wise, he's not a whole lot smaller than our Cuetzpal father here. So I'm not really sure. My first thought was, again, use him as like either a Sunblood or an Eternity Warden, especially with this 32mm base. And he's got his big old club there. I mean, he's not like ridiculously out of scale with these two. And I mean, if you put these two on modern bases anyways, these are older ones, obviously on the squares. They've been around the block a while. I think you could probably get away with using him in an actual GW game. Obviously not in a GW store, but if you wanted to use him in Age of Sigmar or in a Warhammer game, you should be totally good to go. Very cool model. You can check out Lost Kingdom's website. Hopefully they're going to have these guys up for retail soon, because I know there's a lot of demand. And with that said, this is High Lord Tamerlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, and I will say my farewells for now. Bye-bye.